There once was a man from Dallas who had a really big gun. He revealed all the peeps with a snap and a sweep, and oh man, Rogue Company's fun. Hey YouTube, James here with another game review, this time talking about the new Hi-Rez Studios game, Rogue Company, which is currently in closed beta. Hi-Rez is of course the studio behind games like Smite and Paladins, and this time they're coming back to the shooter genre with this third-person action shooter. If I had to describe this game using only other games, I would say it's like if Gears of War, Apex Legends, and CSGO or Valorant had a threesome, and it turned out pretty well. There's a lively cast of characters called rogues, each with their own abilities, guns, and various throwables and perks. At the moment, there are two main modes, Demolition and Strikeout. Both modes are currently 4v4. Demolition is your classic search and destroy mode, similar to what Valorant and CSGO have to offer. Strikeout, on the other hand, is a team deathmatch of sorts, except each team has a limited number of lives they can respawn. There's also a point which can be captured, and holding the point for periods of time will reduce the number of lives the enemy team has. Both modes are a lot of fun, where I'd say Demolition feels more controlled, while Strikeout can feel very chaotic at times. There's rumors that they're planning on adding other modes, and maybe even a battle royale in the future as well. The game of course is in beta right now, so things are bound to change, but in terms of pure gameplay, I have to say that Rogue Company is probably one of the most fun shooters I've tried recently. The gameplay overall I think is great, but they definitely have some things to iron out. I like the pacing a lot. It feels fast without feeling like it's impossible to hit anything. The time to kill is relatively high, so definitely practice trigger discipline and wait for the right moments to strike. That being said, I do think flanking is pretty insane in this game, especially for Strikeout mode. Obviously, you have to adapt your gameplay to counter the flanks, but sometimes it can just feel ridiculous and rage-inducing. Spawn killing in Strikeout can be a bit too strong sometimes too. I know they're trying to fix this, but when you're getting stomped, sometimes it just feels bad, man. Some of the controls feel clunky at times. For example, sometimes it won't feel responsive when you want to sprint, and sometimes it won't move forward when you're holding W. There are times when guns for whatever reason will stop shooting or randomly switch, which can be a little perplexing. Reviving and defusing can be clunky at times too, since it's the same key as picking up guns and interacting, so sometimes you might accidentally interact with things instead of picking up your teammates who are close to dying. Also, one thing which is a little weird is the fact that the bomb stops ticking once you start to defuse, which I think is an odd design choice and doesn't really make much sense. I think the characters themselves feel pretty well balanced for the most part. Sure, there are some who seem to stomp more often than others, but I think every character can carve out a role if used properly and depending on the mode that you play. That being said, the character list does feel quite diverse. Each kit makes sense for the corresponding rogue, and they give you enough options to adapt to different scenarios and team compositions. The gunplay itself is super satisfying. I really like the dinks from the hit markers, and you really feel it when you down somebody. The graphics and animations honestly aren't really the best, maybe in an attempt to keep it highly accessible and playable on all platforms. The sound is decent for the most part. I can usually tell the direction which an enemy is coming from, which is something which some games can't seem to get right. It can feel a bit empty at times, I suppose, but when you're playing a tactical shooter like this, I would rather be able to hear the footsteps. The music is cool, although a bit limited, because there's really only one or two songs I feel like, but it is created by Run the Jewels, so that's pretty dope. I also like the little animation at the start of every game, but I can see why some people might get annoyed by it. The game also has cross-platform play, which in my opinion is awesome. It doesn't force you to do it, but having the option alone is amazing. Overall, I do like the map design, at least from a high level. I like that most of the maps feel open and have multiple paths you can take, unlike Valorant for example, which can feel a little claustrophobic and like you're running through a bunch of corridors. While I do like the map design overall, I think some of the maps are not that well balanced at the moment. For Demolition, depending on the map, you'll find one side to be remarkably easier than the other. In my own experience, I would say defense seems easier in general, but I think that's more so because I play with friends who actually try to communicate. Not only that, but you play first to 7, but don't switch sides until after 6 rounds. I know Siege is similar, but this can sometimes feel bad if you don't get the side you want first. For Strikeout, there are some spawns which feel impossible to win on, and sometimes it can feel like whether or not you win a match depends on what side you spawn on. I think one of the best parts of the beta though so far is that Hi-Rez has been really good about communicating with their community. They make it very clear what the beta plans are, so as long as they keep it up, I think the game will continue to improve. Overall, my friends and I are really enjoying Rogue Company, and I think this game has huge potential. I'm not sure if it'll be able to compete at the level of Valorant or CSGO, but I think it fills its own unique niche, being a fast-paced and exciting to play tactical shooter. I'm looking forward to what Hi-Rez will do with this game and hope they continue to improve it throughout the beta. I would definitely say it's worth the $15 to get into early access, and even the $40 if you want to unlock all the characters outright. But of course, you can also potentially just get a beta key for free from Twitch or the Rogue Company Twitter. But those are my thoughts on Rogue Company so far. Let me know what you think about the game down below, or if you have any other games you want me to try out and review, feel free to let me know as well. Otherwise, hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you next time.